Hello everyone, Soul the Scientist here again. The open beta for Battleborn is long over, and with less than 2 weeks until launch, I'm trying to take my experience from the beta and turn that into a framework with which to approach the full release, and I wanted to share the highlights of that with you all. Sort of like a lessons learned and things still desired kind of thing. Also, this is my first video using my very own footage. I'm playing Kelvin with a pre-made team of 3 other friends and a random. The clip starts after 4 kills and my only death. I ended up going 19-1 and 16 this game, so you can see the 15 kill streak. The game starts with our team getting our collective ass handed to us, but in the end we win by 3 points with less than a minute to go. Right, so first and foremost our options. I always go through the options menu first when I boot up a game for the first time. One thing to note are the options for minimap only, radar only, or both in PvP. I always use radar only or both. I found neither to really be more helpful than the other, but I stuck to using the combo most of the time. However, the radar isn't quite what I thought it would be. I was thinking it would be more like Destiny's, where you have a circle split up into 8 sections of equal arc length and a center area. The area in which the enemy is in relation to you will light up red, opaque if the enemy is at the same elevation as you, or faded if the enemy is above or below you. An additional consideration for this would be which enemies would cause the radar to light up. In story mode, all hostile NPCs. Easy. In PvP, I think only enemy players would be sufficient, because they're the ones who will be moving in 3 dimensions, thus creating the need to interpret your 3-dimensional environment on a 2-dimensional screen. I may be in the extreme minority here, but having this as an overlay on top of the rotating minimap, or as a standalone radar option would, I think, provide superior spatial awareness. Another feature that would be nice is button remapping, especially as it relates to some L1 and R1 skills. Like when I play Miko, I'm holding down L2 for most of the match, which occupies my left index finger. Since you can activate biosynthesis while using the healing beam, it would be helpful to map the skill to R1 instead of L1, so I don't have to remove my right hand from the controller entirely to activate the skill. This is probably of little concern to most people, but to me, the little things matter just as much as the big. While on the subject of skill use, I know I'm not the first person to say this, but it's worth repeating because not everyone knows this and everyone needs to. The circle button serves a dual purpose. It's not just a quick melee button. It knocks back the enemy hit by it, giving you some potentially much needed breathing room, and cancels a skill use. If in the options menu you have your skill use set to default, standard, whatever it's called, most skills require 2 button presses, one for activation and another for execution. If you activate a skill but decide not to execute, you are not already committed to that decision. Press the circle button and you won't have to worry about sitting through an entire cooldown because you messed up. Next, FOV sliders on console. I know it's a standard option for PC, but come on now. Even Borderlands The Handsome Collection can go up to 110. The PC version can go up to 100, so the console versions should have the same option. If the feature isn't available at launch, I hope it will be added soon thereafter. View model sliders would be nice too, but if we can only have one, I'll take the FOV. Next, gear. Everyone loves loot, especially legendaries, and you can't farm for legendaries in Battleborn the same way you can in Borderlands. It's my understanding that completing a character's top right lore challenge awards a legendary piece of gear with a special effect for that character. If this is the only surefire way to unlock that specific piece of gear, that piece should not have randomly generated stats. If you have it, it should be the only and therefore most powerful version. I assume these character-specific legendaries will still be in the gear pack loot pool, and I'm totally okay with that because you can either sell the duplicate or acquire the gear piece before completing the challenge. In either case, you lose nothing. All non-character-specific legendaries can have rolled stats because I'm all for chasing marginally better ones, but I think the aforementioned exception is necessary so as to not devalue what are likely to be some of the most desired pieces of gear in the entire game. With 25 heroes to choose from, there were a lot of options and I found I had different preferences for different modes, and there were some heroes I didn't enjoy playing as much as others. Just to get it out of the way now, I didn't like playing Benedict much at all. Gliding is cool, gliding is fun, but rocket launchers are just not my cup of tea. I'm not as big a fan of D&D as I thought I would be, obligatory pun intended. I don't like how her thrown fans curve, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. Burst Dash doesn't lock onto nearby enemies like Melka's Claw Lunge, so that kinda stinks. Blink Storm has a set time between skill activation and when D&D attacks with it. I don't like that much either, and as it stands now, there's not really much of an incentive to play D&D over Melka or Shane and Aurochs. I like Isaac a lot, but he should not be able to have Omega Strike active until cancelled or stunned. A suitable solution may be to make it last like 10 seconds and decrease its cooldown. I also like Whiskey Foxtrot, but it would be nice if the bursts auto-cycled if I'm holding the trigger down. I still prefer Oscar Mike, but it would be a welcome quality of life change. Reyna's laser pistol could use a damage buff, Galt may have been buffed a bit too much, and finally, please, bring back the Phoebe stun. That's it for the negatives. Now the positives. 1. Galilea. Even after she was nerfed, I still loved playing her. Her attack damage did need to go down because she was doing a lot of damage for a defender, and taking away the movement speed buff at level 10 was the right thing to do, but I think her health regen nerfs might warrant revision. 2. Kelvin. I loved playing Kelvin. He was the biggest beta surprise for me, and I'll be playing him a lot more in the full game. He's my go-to melee defender that isn't Galilea right now. 3. Montana. I was surprised just how much fun I was having with him. I could push minions well on my own, pick off enemy players who got too close, and he's another character I'll be playing a lot more of in the full game. 4. I'm not a very good sniper, but I loved playing Thorn and Marquis in the story missions. In PvP, not so much, because I kind of have terrible aim. Overall, the beta was a lot of fun, and it left me wanting more, which, I think, is what a beta is supposed to do this close to launch. So, Gearbox in 2K? Well done. I think you really have another hit on your hands, and I can't wait to get my hands on a copy come May 3rd. Next week's video is going to be something of a Battleborn buyer's guide. I'll be going over the Standard Edition, Digital Deluxe Edition, Season Pass, and the post-launch content roadmap. If you found this video to be informative, please be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts on what I've discussed, leave them in the comments down below and we'll talk about them. Since my last video, my channel has grown to 435 subscribers at the time of recording, so to my newest 185 subscribers, welcome, and thank you for your support. If we can hit 500, hopefully by the end of May, I'll do another milestone video. If you're watching this and not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so, and join us on the journey to 500 subscribers and beyond. I'm gonna let the rest of the match play out, so you're welcome to keep watching my kill streak, but the commentary ends here. So until next time, thank you very much for watching.
Our enemies have spawned a giant minion. Stop it! The enemy has deployed a giant minion. Destroy it!
You've been quelled. Release me now! Set! I've got you! Piles of scrap, you shall be remade! Parting is such sweet sorrow. With regret, I must go.
Our enemies have spawned a giant minion. Stop it. Hostile giant minion en route to the enemy altar. We're falling behind. Sacrifice minions or Minrek will surely kill us all. 10 minutes to meltdown. Our enemies have spawned a giant minion. Stop it.
Power behind this, fellows!
Relentless.
Is that my doing?
Ow!
The enemy has deployed a giant minion. Destroy it.
No, your technique is all wrong! I look forward to...
Spawned a giant minion. See it safely to our altar.
A funeral pyre just for you. I'm white. Here's something you can't do. Come along.
Hostile giant minion en route to the enemy altar.
Ow! Wonderful!
Giant minion destroyed. Shepherded to our altar.
Still so large.
5 minutes to meltdown. We've spawned a giant minion. See it safely to our altar. Giant minion moving out. Bring it to Minrek. Power play. Enemy forces at half strength. We've spawned a giant minion. Bring it safely to our altar. Giant minion moving out. Bring it to Minrek.
They come! Give them death! These hands? Look at this thing I can do! Ow!
Our enemies have spawned a giant minion. Stop it. Hostile giant minion en route to the enemy altar.
Still, so still.
Hardly
1 minute to meltdown.